Brandy and that Donna. Karen, they be sharing all their money, got me wearing fly. Girl, I ain't asking, they say they love my ass. And 7 jeans to religion, I say no, but they keep giving, so I keep on taking. And no,
That's Mr. Rooster. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. So I just woke up. I'm still in my ugly pajamas, please don't judge me, but today I'm going to be going on a hike with one of my friends, and she's actually my neighbor as well. She's a more experienced rider, so as soon as I get dressed, I'm going to go and call her, and then we're going to get breakfast and then walk down to the stables together. So I just got dressed, and as you can see, we live in a pretty tiny town up here in Firgrove, but it is a beautiful view and a really nice morning today. So the girl I'm going on a hike with today, I actually met at the stables a few days ago because she actually owns Casper, the lesson horse that I ride, so that's how I know her. She finally answers the door, and she just woke up as well, so I'm going to go wait on a bench until she gets dressed. So while we wait, let me just tell you guys a bit more about what's going on in my life right now. I am actually with my grandmother right now in the summer. This is where I go for the summer because my parents always go on business trips, and I really enjoy hanging out by the stables. But regularly I live in Dundle. It's like a really small and lonely town. I don't really like it there, so I always try to make the best out of things every time I get to come to Firgrove in the summer. The reason that I ride at Starshine Ranch is because the owners of the ranch are actually my parents' best friends since like high school or something, so they're pretty close. We walked to the nearby stable box, which is really convenient because we go here for breakfast a lot. So the waitress knows us well, and we got our normal order, which is a sandwich and some green tea for me, and of course a cappuccino for my friend, and we just talked about our morning and everything. With full stomachs, we were driven down to Starshine Ranch by my grandmother. We talked to Uncle John for a bit about our plans, like what horses we were taking out, when we would be back. And no, he's not really my uncle, it's just because he's been with me since I was a child, and he's my dad's best friend. So we just grabbed some halters, and I went to feed the dog. Then we just started putting on some of our riding gear. After we put on our riding gear, we went into the paddock to grab our horses. Casper is just out in the field over there, and Sav went to go grab him. Here's the story behind Casper. He was a lesson horse for around a month or so because Sav was out of town for a vacation or something, and she let the ranch use him as a lesson horse. Because he's really good with strangers and he's pretty well behaved, I am really thankful to be able to have ridden him when Sav was gone, but now that Sav is back, Casper's now hers, not a lesson horse anymore, so I'm riding another horse today, and his name is Natto. He's like a seal brown color, and I've ridden him in some lessons, but today is the day that I actually get to take him on a hack. Now, Natto and Casper have different personalities, let's just say. Casper is very antisocial, I guess, and he doesn't really like other horses. I mean, he can deal with them, but he doesn't like them, whereas Natto loves other horses, and that's why he's in a paddock filled of other horses, and Casper is just in his own paddock. So now we're going to bring them into the stables so we can get them tacked up and give them some nutrients for the day. So we brought them into the stables, and there's a lot of other horses here. Today is a Saturday, so that is a pretty busy day for the barn. Casper and Natto's stalls are like right next to each other, and surprisingly, Natto's the only horse that Casper gets along with. After the horses got settled in their stalls, me and Sav went to the feed room to grab some hay. Casper and Natto both need their own specific mix of vitamins and proteins because they might not get enough of it in the hay and grass, and we just want them to be able to grow up healthy. I had to mix in some vitamins, pellets, and finally add a little bit of water so that he can swallow. After we got their feed right, we went into the tack room and we got all their tack ready, but sadly I forgot to film that part, so I did get the part where we went and fed them though. Natto, are you really that hungry that you have to nibble at the few pieces of hay on the ground? I gave him his feed mix and then his favorite, an apple. Now, he usually doesn't like lifting his leg up so that I can do his hooves, but because I gave him that apple, he was quite polite today. He was pretty dusty for being out in the field all day, but eventually I cleaned him and then I started tacking him up. If you look closely in the background, you can see that Casper was getting a little bit feisty with the fjord in the stall next to him. Yeah, for some reason he likes people over horses. I adjusted the girth and the stirrups because I've had so many lessons, I know how long they should be. Once both horses were groomed and fully tacked, I led Natto out of his stall, and here I'm just waiting for Sav to lead Casper out, and then we'll go get mounted, well, exit the stable first, of course, and go on our hack. We led our horses to the wooden pole thing and we mounted them there. We rode into the field and started going on the hack. We started pretty slow, just walking, but Natto's really enthusiastic. He likes to go fast, and Casper, watching Natto, was like, okay, I'm gonna trot too, and he decided to go along. The hack lasted around 2 hours, and it was at that point where we decided to go back to the stables. On the way back to the ranch, we were stopped by Sav's dad because there was an important issue that he needed Sav's help with, so she called one of the stable girls to bring Casper back to the ranch, and I went all the way here by myself, and Brownie came to greet us. Natto even made friends with the pigeon when I was untacking him. It was a bit rough leading him back because he clearly wanted to stay with his new friend the pigeon, and boy was he mad when I led him away. I realized that they ran out of hay, so I quickly took his halter off, and then I ran out and grabbed some hay for them. There you go, guys. I asked one of my friends at the ranch to drive me home because Grandma was making lunch. Once we arrived near my house, I thanked him for driving me here and hopped off the car. Once I arrived home, I could literally smell the baked goods that Grandma had made, and I quickly took off all my riding gear and changed into day clothes. Overall, today was a really nice day and we had a really fun hack. I'm kind of trying to figure out what discipline I still want to do. I'm doing flat. I'm kind of thinking about hunter and dressage actually, because those sound really fun. So hopefully once I figure that out and I get more experienced, I can start leasing a horse. Turns out Grandma had baked a delicious strawberry cake and I am so excited to eat that. But thank you guys for watching and have a great rest of your day.